Hey, this is Cedric Youngelman, your host of the Bitcoin Matrix podcast. Thank you so much for checking out my show, where we have philosophical conversations about the economic, cultural, and psychological implications of Bitcoin. Please make sure that you're subscribed to the Bitcoin Matrix. And if you're watching this on YouTube, smash that like button so that more people see it, and put those notifications on so that you don't miss out on any fresh and dope content. This episode with Greg Zaj about memetic warfare, dank memes, and the meme factory is brought to you by River. River has officially partnered with Bitcoin Magazine to help you stack sats just for reading articles on the Bitcoin Magazine app. You're able to withdraw these sats directly to your River wallet using Lightning. I love River because they keep shipping, and they are a Bitcoin-only company that makes it simple to leave the next generation better off than our own. Earn more sats just for learning about Bitcoin. Plus, you can set up zero-fee DCA. To get started and find out for yourself, use the link in the show notes and get up to $10,000 free when you buy Bitcoin and miners at river.com. There's no better time than now to get your sats off your exchange. Even River, my favorite hardware wallet, is the Cold Card from CoinKite, and it's definitely worth learning how to use it. CoinKite is a leader in security and hardware manufacturer established Block 141,000. Maker of some of the most iconic Bitcoin products such as OpenDime, Cold Card, Sats Card, Tap Signer, Sats Chip, Block Clock, and the Micro Block Clock, which are really dope Bitcoin data display units. Use the link in the show notes for 5% off your order. Don't trust, verify. TikTok, next block, an idea whose time has come cannot be stopped. Join your fellow Bitcoiners in Miami Beach for the biggest annual celebration of Bitcoin in the world. Don't miss out. 150 plus speakers, 15,000 attendees. Miami Beach, May 18th to 20th. Get access to the Bitcoin conference with options from general admission, industry day, VIP, or student passes. To get 10% off your ticket and help support me and the show, use the code MATRIX at checkout. And now, let's enter the Bitcoin Matrix with Greg Zaj to hear about the renowned Bob Malakis, the lightbulb rabbit hole, and Greg Zaj's favorite part of Bitcoin.
What is real? How do you define real?
You can't jump into cash. Cash is trash. What do? You get out.
Greg Zaj 1 or Greg Zaj 2. Either way, he probably doesn't exist. His show that he co-hosts, The Meme Factory, doesn't exist. This conversation definitely did not happen, or probably should not have happened. I can't tell yet. All I know so far is Greg Zaj is into dank memes, and his opinions are his own. Greg, welcome to the Bitcoin Matrix podcast. How are you?
Hey, Cedric. Thank you. I'm happy to be here, man. It's a good day so far. The Eagles, which is my favorite football team, just won the NFC Championship, so I'm in a fantastic mood tonight.
All right, so I guess they just beat the Niners.
Yes, they did.
Was it a good game, a close game?
The first half of the game was competitive, and the second half of the game, the Niners suffered a few injuries, so I felt bad for them. They tried to put up a fight, but can't do much without a quarterback.
Yeah, and are you a big NFL or Eagles fan?
Oh, definitely a big Eagles fan.
Is the whole family into the Eagles? Are you raising an Eagles fan?
Hopefully, we'll see. I think I've got one. I think the daughter, the one you just saw, will have I'll be an Eagles fan there. Hopefully.
Well, you're lucky because your team's doing well. I find with kids, it's either the local team, the national champion, or dad's team. And if all three come together in one season, you got a fan for life.
Well, I also have to compete with Mom's team. Mom's a big Packer fan, so
Right.
we those influences vie for each other's.
Yeah, and I had that living outside of Chicago in Illinois. When the Cubs won it all, I mean, it was kind of excited for the Cubs, but I was really hoping my son wouldn't really become a Cubs fan for life.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
I'm a Mets fan, and I think about raising him maybe as a Yankees fan, so he'd have a better life than me. But
Right.
So how I don't know, fandom has kind of dwindled a lot in my life. Had Bitcoin impacted fandom at all for you, or the way you see sports, or?
I mean, sports are a circus. I mean, that's pretty evident even before Bitcoin. There are sports that I enjoy watching. Football is one of them. It's a lot of fun to watch for me. So, and it's nice to have teams to root for.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So let's go back a little bit. What were you doing before Bitcoin? Like
before Bitcoin launched, or what was I doing before I started a Bitcoin Twitter account?
Well, let's go back a little bit. Like before Bitcoin launched, like what were you up to? Were you what were you looking to do with your life, and were you interested in economics and sort of the machinations of, however you kind of look through the political lens of Bitcoin? And some people don't see it as political at all, but kind of maybe.
Yeah. Before Bitcoin launched, and really like right before it, the GFC, like I'd gotten very interested in what the hell was going on with our financial system and why it had broken so badly. I had a small audio video company at the time. The audio video company, we launched it into the teeth of the Great Recession, so that it did not pan out well. It was a bad venture, but you learn and you move on. I was reading The Millionaire Mindset, Warren Buffett's biography, The Snowball, Rich Dad Poor Dad. This was like my entry into kind of what was happening in the world of money. That was before Bitcoin. Then Austrian economics and Bitcoin kind of snowballed into each other at the same time.
Yeah. What do you think was driving some of those interests? I always think back to, was it like, oh, do I need to construct some sort of portfolio here as I'm starting my career? Is it I want to understand how the world works? And
I knew I was getting fucked, and I didn't know quite how. And I knew I needed to understand the mechanisms by which I was being taken advantage of. And then once I understood that machine, then I could figure out some sort of strategy to either play with it or around it. And that's where Bitcoin came in.
Yeah. And how did Bitcoin come into the picture?
My first touch on it was early. And I definitely ignored it at my own peril. I had read an article about it while at work, and then decided to try to mine some on my laptop. I remember the laptop ran for a while by itself. I don't remember how many coins, if any, it ever produced, but they are donated to the network. And then I didn't touch Bitcoin again until maybe 2016, 2017, at which point I had a little bit of Bitcoin, but I had missed the previous rally. I was pissed about that, and I thought I was going to be smarter and better and find the next Bitcoin. So I started shitcoining. Was a big Ethereum head, because that was smart contracts, world computer. That was the way of the future. In hindsight, that's an idiotic thing to think once you have really discovered Bitcoin. Fortunately, during the heat of the bull market, I had started listening to Preston Pish's podcast and reading some Robert Breedlove, and that stuff swayed me into the Bitcoin only camp, as well as some early interactions with American Hodl on Twitter. And it was a good trade. It's continued to be a good trade as I DCA into the future here.
So when was the first time, I guess, you dabbled with Bitcoin? It was like around 2012 or 2013 or something, when you were mining, like you said, on your laptop and reading an article at work?
I know where I was for work, but I'm not sure the particular year. I think it was 2013. Why do you ask?
Well, so then what was your reaction like when you came back to Bitcoin in 2016, 2017? Just maybe
Just
thinking
kidding.
about the time in
Just kicking
between.
myself. Just kicking myself. You know, you ever sell out of a position and then see that position do the things that Bitcoin does when it's in a bear market. You either turn into from Keith over at Hedgeye and just decide you're going to hate on Bitcoin, or Peter Schiff, or you humble yourself, realize, all right, I miss them, but there's a lot of room to go, and I'm just going to hop on this train. So I swallowed the poison and just decided Bitcoin was the way to go.
Right. And maybe before Bitcoin being the way to go, what was your shitcoining days like?
Brief, fortunately.
Okay.
So I was listening to that Bankless podcast a lot, and I was being swayed by people saying a lot of words and meaning nothing, or counting on me to not understand the concepts behind what they were explaining about how like Ethereum was ultrasound money and how proof of stake was going to work. And it's all just a fugazi, you know, on the Ethereum network. And it took that's where definitely the Austrian economics helped me out, because in their pitch to make Ethereum ultrasound money, these guys were calling it something called a triple point asset, and they likened it to the dollar and all these different forces pulling on it and making its value stable in some particular way. And I was like, oh, it's fiat. Oh, okay, fuck you guys, got it. Okay, I'm out.
Right.
We're gonna do Bitcoin.
Maybe during the honeymoon period with ETH, when you were an ETH head, what did you think of Vitalik?
I thought he was just an odd autistic duck. And now that I understand what the scam is with a lot of these shitcoins, and the ETH in particular, he's just it takes on like an evil twist. It feels like he's portraying this character on purpose, but he isn't really. It's called boy genius, and I guess this is what he's going for, which a lot of these guys go for, is Sam Bankman-Fried, boy genius. You know, and what's really happening is, as they're pulling your money in, they're playing League of Legends in the background.
Right. And when did you end up on Bitcoin Twitter?
I ended up on Bitcoin
or just Twitter, really, maybe.
Funny story. I've been on Twitter for a very long time. I opened an account, I think, in 2006. Right around, I don't think Twitter had been out very long, and I completely forgot about it. And it was hacked by some Southeast Asian people. And I had to, in 2016, after listening to the Investors podcast and hearing Preston Pish talk with somebody about Bitcoin Twitter in particular being the space where all the great ideas in finance are being thrown around and tested live and in full view of the public. And I said to myself, that's where I want to go see the conversation. Like, this is how, if you want to get down to the nuts and bolts of the finance world today and the plumbing of the economic system, people are yelling at each other about it on Twitter today. It's like, all right, cool, check it out. So I had to scrub years worth of tweets in Korean or something, and switch back into a normal account, which I added a .eth onto the end of, but started my lurking journey, trying to find the signal on Bitcoin Twitter.
So then when did you go from lurking to hardcore shitposting?
Well, it was an internal like hit when the first time somebody like made fun of me for the .eth thing, which was American Idol. And I really internalized that, and I was like, oh, okay, shitposting can have an effect on somebody that maybe they take another look at what you're saying or what Bitcoin is about. And while I can't, I don't know if I can, or I'm just not going to write a bunch of papers about why Bitcoin's important. I feel like Szabo's done all the hard work. I can shitpost, and maybe I can get the attention of somebody who otherwise was going to be shitcoining longer.
Okay. So then what does it mean to you?
A meme, I mean, the way it's defined on like Wikipedia or something is it's just I think it's an image that conveys some cultural understanding. For me, it's like a comic strip or a quick one soundbite, make you laugh, try to, if I can, throw something on its head to have you look at it in a different direction. It's a way for me to convey how I feel about the space without having to sit down with somebody and have the conversation that we're having about Bitcoin.
Yeah. I'm dial it back a bit. I saw you probably a couple times in Bitcoin Miami, Bitcoin 2022.
Okay.
One was at you were on a panel, Memetic Warfare.
Yeah.
Hosted by American Hodl. I think Big Sean Harris, who's been on the show, was on there. Nico's been on the show, was on there. Kunikarus, Chair Force. Great panel. It's up on YouTube. And it's one of the reasons we're talking today. So I want to get more into sort of memes. And do you think we're in like an information war online?
Whether or not I think we are. I mean, it's just we've been in an information war since you could have information wars, since the printing press. It's just the tools that have gotten different. Now we use internet, bigger audience, faster communication. It's an information war.
Right. And so then, how many types of memes do you think there are?
There's not a limit to the types of memes there could be, especially as the way somebody can express themselves, the ways in which somebody can express themselves just multiply, or become easier. People will surprise us with new and fascinating ways to make a meme.
Yeah. So then what about memes based in truth versus like just bullshit memes?
Okay. They can both serve the same aim, right? So if somebody's saying something absurd, my favorite tact to take with them is to point out the way in which they are saying the absurd thing, but make it be about something else. So it's what they're saying one step to the side, and like anybody who's reading with some modicum of critical thought is going to look at that and go, or if somebody is in fact sitting across from you and having an honest conversation, if you want to make a point via a meme in truth is the best way to make your point. So a lot of times a graphical representation of how the Bitcoin network functions or how settlement works in the finance world can be useful. And those are just data charts and diagrams, but sure, you can make them a meme easily by drawing on them.
Right. Are memes violence?
No, it's just they're in the same category as words. So it's a way to express yourself. They for me, they fall under the same thing as freedom of speech, right? My words can't hurt you. No matter what I do, they're not going to inflict pain on you. They're not going to make you bleed. Maybe I hurt your feelings. And yeah, sure, that might cause pain to you, but it's not going to physically impact you in any way necessarily.
I can see that. What makes a great meme?
A great meme is one that anybody can get just without much explanation. So like the fewer words there are on a meme, the better. So if you can make a meme understandable just with visual cues and references that make sense across disciplines and cultures, that's a great meme. You want to make the meme that everybody else wants to steal. Hashtag rope. You know, are you familiar with Rope's meme? That's like the most stolen meme on the internet.
Maybe not.
All right, Ropium, Ghost of Rope. I don't know what he's using right now, but he had Death walking down the hallway. So Death's headed down this hallway. There's a bunch of doors, and each door is Bitcoin. He's trying to kill Bitcoin. He's trying to kill Bitcoin. He's trying to kill Bitcoin. Keeps coming back to life, and at the end, Death's just got his head in his hands. Oh. And then he made the meme. It was super successful, and then subsequently, every day, every week, somebody else was pushing it off as their own. So that was a very successful meme, and it was funny to watch how they propagate.
That's probably successful on at least two levels that I could think of in terms of he probably made the meme and it was a successful meme, and then it's a template meme, and so people can use it for other memes that they create on top of it.
Well, I don't know if he combined the two pictures to make the template, but he certainly used it well.
That's interesting. Like putting the effort into making the template and not the 1-2 punch in the template, and you know, and the different ways to kind of contribute, you know, your art or your view or your perspective. This one's almost like creating like a protocol meme. It's gonna be used over and over and over and last forever.
Yeah, it's doing the heavy lifting for you up front. Right, so you're already laughing looking at it. Now we got to figure out what the context is.
Do you see a meme sometimes, like let's say like someone makes a meme and whatever's in the words, but like you see the frame, the template, and the picture like Ropiums and go, I want to know who made that? Like, how do I find out the creator of that meme? Or are you interested in that kind of thing? Like, does it stick with you, or is it only memes of people that maybe you know that you would know who created it?
If it's good and it's doing something new, yes, I'm very interested to see who made it. If it's a funny twist on an old template or something that's just a new flavor of the same template, interesting, but maybe not. Maybe I don't care who it is, but I might steal it and use it for my own. That's such as the nature of memes.
Sure. And then can memes work from the top down? Like, can the establishment meme?
What do you mean?
Like, could, you know, Pfizer or Bed Bath and Beyond, could they put out a decent meme or a killer meme?
Oh, I mean, I think you can make the argument that Pfizer put out a killer meme. But I don't know. I don't think I think the organic growth is the funnier way to go. Top down tends not to be as funny.
Yeah. Maybe what's the longest you've worked on a meme?
Like a week. Yeah, for some of the video stuff, some of the video editing takes a while just to do. There's a lot of elements that end up in the video memes. So the longer they are, the more intricate they are. There's a lot of stuff that goes in the background.
Sure. You know, I like the idea of like the ability of a meme to create bullshit or the ability of a meme to refute bullshit. And maybe how do you think about or juggle your time between just pure shit posting online and I really want to work on this video meme that's a side project, you know?
A lot of time I'm just waiting for inspiration to strike me from the great beyond. So in the time that I'm waiting for something to fire the last two neuronal connections in my head that function, and we'll make that a meme, I will look at the stuff that other people are making, or take a look at the Bitcoin news, or just consume a podcast, so I can see if there's anything in the back of my head that's rattling around that I can make a connection on something that is current and relevant. And sometimes I am struck with something that is useful, and sometimes I just feel like shit posting on Twitter. And there's no rhyme or reason to exactly what is happening that particular day. I'm sorry to tell you.
That's awesome. What about, do politicians and like PhDs understand memes?
Yeah, I mean, everybody understands memes. Memes are older than the internet. I mean, a cave drawing of men throwing spears at a buffalo, like that's, they're hunting. They hunt here. I mean, that's a meme. So everybody can understand memes. That's the whole point. Everybody should be able to understand the meme, unless you're trying to stir the pot with some bullshit and you want to make a meme that nobody can understand. But then it's got to be funny anyway.
I like this idea of, memes and caveman and caves. But if you drew a killer meme in a cave, no one probably saw it outside of maybe whoever shared your cave or came and visited. And the internet has drastically changed that. Can a meme unravel a multi-billion-dollar narrative?
Oh, I fucking hope so. I think so. It's a meme is nothing more than an idea given some sort of physical manifestation. It's the step between what's in your head and physical reality. And if you can make an idea bridge the gap between the ethereal and the real, and that idea takes hold, right? Once an idea takes hold, it's not, you can't do anything about it. You can't combat it with any type of narrative, because now the idea is real. And absolutely, I think memes could certainly unravel multi-billion-dollar narratives.
Is there any way they could fight that besides just pure censorship?
Yeah. I mean, there's tons of ways that people fight information warfare, and have forever. So you go from censorship to the actual violence approach, where you direct violence at the person you want to shut up. You can also flood a space with noise. I'm sure you remember Twitter bots. Popular accounts tend to have a boatload of bots that come in and flood the comments of something that really inhibits discourse sometimes. And I think that's on purpose. Absolutely.
So do you think something like, do you think JP Morgan's going to hire like a meme officer or chief meme officer one day?
Yeah, they already have these people, right? JP Morgan, any company that's worth over $1 billion is going to have somebody doing memes, but the job is called PR, right? It's their PR arm of their company, but they better also be doing some sort of memes, and whether they're running it directly out of the company, or they have some sort of association with like a click farm somewhere, or some guy on the staff who's halfway decent at making a meme, and then you push it with with fake numbers into the world.
Right. So do you think you can control your memes once they're out there?
Nope. It's an idea. Can't control ideas. I used to watermark my memes. I don't anymore, because I believe you cannot control those suckers once they're out. Sorry, RD.
Yeah. So what's with the watermark? I think of that as I mean, should you not watermark your meme? Is there an ethic? Is there like a cypherpunk kind of code? Is this like a cast iron versus steel?
No, it just harkens back to the fact that it's an idea, and like once an idea is out in the open, it's not yours anymore. It's just it is. So earlier we talked about, do I ever want to know who created a meme? So if I wanted to see who created a meme, a watermark is helpful for me to understand who made it, right? I don't care if there's a watermark on the meme, but also sometimes it can hinder the delivery of the meme, especially on like a video meme. If you're putting a watermark on it, it's distracting. So you have to find another way to, if you want people to know that it's your creation without being gauche about it, let's say, you find different ways to do that. So like Rusty, who did the image behind me, he's another part of the Meme Factory, World of Rusty. Rusty has a style that is very recognizable, and he makes really interesting artwork. So if you can work into your memes, and a lot of times this is going to mean picking a font that works with whatever type of humor you're trying to establish, then if you have a visual aesthetic or a font that that you constantly use, anybody who's paying attention to memes is going to know who made the thing in the first place.
I kind of like, I don't know if it's a watermark, but as much as a signature, something that notes the creator. What I like about that is that way I can share the meme, even a fully completed one, without trying to, and still give credit to the the creator, because it's there. And a lot of times I wouldn't know who created it otherwise. So I kind of like that, but I could see what you're saying about how, as the creator, you wouldn't want to hinder the future use of the meme by, putting your name all over it and then hindering it.
Right. I mean, so like on Fractal and Crypt's artwork, you don't see Fractal and Crypt.
Right.
Written across the clock face, the node face.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you ever wanted to do that, Fractal and Crypt, I can show you the best way to get it done. We've got some good print shops down here in this end of Florida.
Yeah. Well, I think Florida is the best state to be a Bitcoiner. I discovered that at Bitcoin Day Naples.
Oh, yeah?
The energy was incredible. I think that humanity and Bitcoin thrives where there's freedom. And I think there's just an incredible amount of freedom in Florida, and it's got great proximity to the United States of America, so that's nice.
Did you say Florida has great proximity to the United States of America?
Yeah.
As if it wasn't part of the country?
Kind of feels like it's not these days. I'm a bit of a refugee from the north, so, But, I think about the power of memes and like something like Bitcoin. And do you think Bitcoin is meme proof?
What do you mean?
Do you think people can attack Bitcoin with credible memes? I wonder, I think that if you're, I think I heard this from a conversation you were having, but like if your shitcoin is not meme proof, it's almost like proof you have a shitcoin if memes can take down your shitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, if a meme can take down a currency, it's a shitcoin.
Right. So in that regard, is Bitcoin meme proof?
Bitcoin's anti-fragile. That doesn't mean it's meme proof, but it means that hopefully memes have had an effect on making it more anti-fragile, whether that's from the social sphere or somebody making a clever meme that a dev goes, oh, we should do that. You look gorgeous.
Mama helped me.
Mama helped her. All right, love you.
Mama, I want to talk to him.
You don't even know him.
We could say hi.
All right, I love you. I'll see you in a little bit. I have a precocious 4-year-old. I'm sorry.
I got 10 and 6, so I know what it's like. It's great. Part of the reason I do the show is to show them that you could kind of like do something or launch something like this from home and use this simple equipment. And they've gotten really into it. So they always ask to pod all the time. And they record shows, like mock shows. And
how do you do? Wait, because my son's also interested in this. So talk to me. What do you do with your kids to do a mock show? What do you do? Okay,
well, yeah. So my daughter she hosts, and she named the show after herself. I gave my son a YouTube channel until they found out he wasn't 18.
Oh no.
He wants to be a YouTube creator, gamer. He's now coding. He wants to kind of play the game and have it on the screen while he's playing it. And,
like Twitch.
Yeah, or what he sees with his favorite YouTubers.
Yep.
And so he'll turn to me. He'll be like, "Pop, how many subscribers do you have?" And he'll be like, "That's nothing. Come back to me when you got 1 million." And
exactly.
thanks, bro. I'm working on it. And
Look, I'm in a super niche audience here. Okay.
that's what I loved about I let him set up a channel, and he did even some intro videos. It got flagged for like child porn almost, because he's like, hey, I want subscribers, and it's like you got a 10-year-old asking you to subscribe to his channel. I mean, YouTube flags that.
Yeah.
But like he got like 4 subscribers, and it showed to him like, hey, the old man's doing okay. Like it's hard to scratch your way to 1 million. And I think that's just so that's been one of the huge pluses or benefits to just doing the show. And I even thought when I launched the show, if I didn't even publish these, like I could just share them with the kids. And
I think that's wonderful. You're giving me ideas. I'm going to use this with one of my sons for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, it just gives them ideas, and I mean, my son's like coding. I always joke he's going to coding class, after school, and I'm like, by the time he's like 13 or 14, he's gonna be making like $400K a year, like just like whipping out software and being like,
thank goodness,
recording, photo shoots and showing me how to light the studio and all that. So that's been a lot of fun. And but I think
you're bringing back farm labor is what you're telling me.
Yeah, well, you got to put them to work. They are free labor.
Exactly.
I ran every errand in the house. Like every time they wanted a drink, a can of Coke or something, I ran to the fridge and got it for my brothers and my parents. I was the youngest, and my kids are a little spoiled. They never get me anything, but
I bribed them with sats.
There's a lot of bribing,
chores,
a lot of bribing, and memeing. I guess you try to meme them into different behavior. And I think, because we were talking about Bitcoin and is it meme proof? And, you have something like right now with Greenpeace and, the change the code
that shit
that they're trying to do. And they're throwing a lot of money behind it.
I know. I love it.
And there are people that have trust in these institutions. And I haven't gone down the Greenpeace rabbit hole, but, maybe they've done good things over here, but that doesn't mean I'm an expert on everything. And it seems like a really huge, whale just getting $5 million from Ripple to smear Bitcoin. But that's powerful stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a shit coin of a meme, right? Like change the Bitcoin code. Okay, go ahead. Go. Change it. Make it better. And then if anybody wants to use it, they will. I promise. I promise they will if they want to. I'm use this one.
Now, you've seen you're a professional shit poster and memer.
Thank you.
And you seem to made a lot of friends along the way and community.
Yeah,
I think that's a big part of it. I wonder how much of it is just keeping up with the memes and keeping up with who did what, and that seems like a lot of fun in and of itself, like a whole sport. Like it's like did you see what Bobby came up with?
You have to keep the weapons sharp, right? So we're in a bear market. All the other shit coiners are so hard wiped out right now that they're licking their wounds, except for Richard Hart. And the memers are wanting, they're wanting for something to attack, and we attack each other. That's kind of what Bitcoiners do. So in the bear market, you stack, fight, and build, and we do a lot of fighting. And the nice thing about the fighting is that we take pot shots at each other. We take pot shots at each other's stances inside of the Bitcoin ecosystem. And it can look rather violent. It can look unseemly. But there is purpose. Because come the next bull cycle, when VCs are trying to push whatever the new thing is, or in the next bull cycle, whatever the new shitcoin is, whatever the new flavor of shitcoin is that they're going to push, we're ready to make fun of them. We're ready to make it sting.
I think it's almost like, the community, I think, is probably, obviously the best part, or, but it's almost like an army as well. And in this warfare. And one thing I dwell on a little bit is when I came, I was an early Twitter person, whatever you want to call it. Like 2009, I signed up, but I didn't use Twitter, and I didn't understand Twitter, and I didn't get on Twitter until like 2016 or 2017.
Yep.
And it was kind of confusing when I got on Twitter and trying to figure out how Twitter works versus I came from Facebook, and Facebook was terrible at that point. And no
Still
signal
is.
or whatever. But Twitter, I did feel, especially before I understood where I was and what was going on, that it was a battlefield, and I was becoming almost like I was getting like violence inflicted on me. There's a lot of misinformation, disinformation, people with agendas on Twitter. And even if you're having fun, even if you got a curated feed, I mean, you're going to come across a lot of different stuff. And I think there are going to be casualties, maybe. Do you think there are casualties, maybe, like even friendly fire, like people getting the wrong idea? Like I've even seen where I could see a tweet and I think that's real. It fires up my emotion. And if I don't do the work, like I might think that's real, or...
There's plenty of friendly fire. It's definitely par for the course.
Like, would you want your kids on Twitter? Or
No.
even when they grow up? When they grow up,
absolutely, I want them on Twitter when they grow up. Yeah, I want them exchanging their ideas with the best of them.
Do you think people, in that regard, I like that. I think I love critical thinking. I love the battlefield of ideas, and that's where I started to put my mind towards and say, okay, I got to be careful here and there, but like I do want to explore these ideas, and this is where the best ideas are being explored and refuted. But I think that I almost had to like buy some armor, or acquire some armor and figure out how to be there. And I wouldn't send my kids on Twitter without a lot of preparation and maybe even some.
You need like 12 good years of being bullied by a few middle schoolers before you get into Twitter, and
which
I feel like that would provide enough armor.
Maybe some good bullying is harder to come by these days. It's not even allowed. Not that I'm encouraging bullying, but I do think there's a role in society of learning what you can and can't say to people. Versus on Twitter, you can say things that and that you wouldn't
behind
say
you can say whatever you want.
Right. And I think that kind of gets lost on Twitter, and people act like that's not there. I think a lot of times. What do you think?
Did somebody hit you with friendly fire?
I mean, I think it's almost a redundant rhetorical question. Yeah, probably. I mean, I've come across a lot of misinformation. There are even people I respect that have great ideas. It doesn't mean they're right about everything, or it doesn't mean they're lying to me, but maybe they're sharing something they think is true or a perspective they believe in, and if I don't then do the work, I might be influenced by that anecdotal information. And I think there's a lot to take in when I think, and I don't think I, think about that. I think there's also an addicting an addicting nature to Twitter.
Dopamine.
Do you think about that at all?
Do I think about it? I try not to.
Right. Because I'm sure if you launch an amazing meme, killer meme, like it goes viral, let's say, there's probably dopamine that comes with that, or there definitely is dopamine.
Not probably, there's definitely dopamine that comes with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so I think
you're like, I'm hooked into the Matrix. Got it.
Right. Okay. Do you think that's changing us, or?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it's I think the new term for this type of behavior is directed evolution. Is that what they do when they
I just learned about that term the other day. I think it is directed evolution. I think it is a form of that, and that's an interesting way to look at it.
And I don't know where it's going. So,
and I think we're fighting for it to go in the way we hope it does by putting our memes and thoughts into the world. Yeah. I think that's why we go onto Twitter, or at least I think we think that arguing over these ideas are worth it to ourselves individually, maybe even to the future, or to our kids or something like that. These need to be hashed out.
Ideas are constantly fighting and are constantly being hashed out. I mean, it's part and parcel of the scientific process, where if you have an idea, if you've got a thesis, you throw it out there and it's supposed to undergo peer review.
But it's definitely not a fair fight. I mean, all the bots, I don't think they're gone.
It's never a fair fight. It's not, your life is never fucking fair.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
You can adapt or not.
What would it be like? Do you think a global cyber attack is coming?
Well, it's been telegraphed a few times at this point.
Yeah. Directed evolution.
What do you mean by a cyber attack? I mean, I don't have enough networking chops to tell you what a cyber attack would look like these days, other than maybe like shutting off the power grid temporarily. Like you can't do it permanently.
Well,
You can't shut off the internet permanently. It's going to route.
Let me change it up. Let me not so much a global not so much a power thing, but let's say Twitter was down for a month.
Yeah,
and like Facebook was locked down. Like you're not getting on Facebook and connecting with anybody. I mean, you have no friends there, maybe, or you don't have the network effects yet. Maybe they just limit everything.
Nostr and Keat, isn't it?
And let's say, yeah, I mean, Nostra's there, but let's say Twitter goes tomorrow, it's down for a month. I mean, like, how do you think that would like fracture just the dissemination of information? I mean, where would you get information?
I would imagine if Twitter or any of these social media platforms go down, it would be because some narrative wants to be forced down our throats. However,
right,
the platforms are already serving that function.
Do you think there's an actual battle for like the soul of Twitter with Elon now, and where there's like some people who want this to go the way maybe it was going, and Elon actually wants to take it in a more positive direction? And
I don't know. I can't pretend to know what's going on inside of Elon Musk's head. I can tell you that my Twitter experience for the last few months has been subjectively better than before Elon came on board, if not buggier in some respects early on. But it feels to me like I'm seeing less censorship on the platform, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I definitely think there's less censorship. I remember right when he came on, I don't know what happened, but like my account just popped off. Like it got life back again. And then after about like 3 weeks, that went away again. And I don't know what happened there. And
that's happened to a lot of Bitcoiners that I've talked to, where for the last maybe year, they've been seeing a downtrend in their on their account followers. I think that has more to do with the bear market than anything else, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I get that. Like someone was like, yeah, maybe your content's just not that great lately, like
maybe it's not. Maybe mine's not. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen it kind of ebb and flow in weird ways. Had nothing to do with price, and while it's always kind of the activity's always going up a little bit, it just it's I don't know what to make of that. Twitter's definitely, I think, a very interesting and special place. I couldn't really imagine the world now without that public square.
No.
And
I'd be mad if it was taken away from me.
Well, you mentioned Nostr. Nostr. However you want to pronounce it. Okay. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm kidding, tomato, but no, I don't know. I just read it. So are you on it? And it's in your profile.
Yeah. I don't know enough about it to speak on it in any technical ability, but from what I understand, it utilizes aspects of the Lightning Network and decentralized routing to function. And the experience I've had so far on it is 70% of what Twitter delivers as far as the interface and the way the system actually functions. But it is absolutely the Wild West, and I think it's a much better solution than what I saw out of Mastodon or what I saw out of Telegram. So I've been exploring it now, and so far there's a lot of interesting things happening on it. I like it.
Are people memeing on it?
I am. I think I'm pretty sure other people are as well. Yeah.
Nice. And so then what are some of your favorite memes?
Anything with Augustine Carson's. I just, looking at that guy makes me laugh. He is a meme of the system himself, and whenever you put him up on a page, I'm already laughing before you've written a word. I don't know if you could call it a meme, but Yellow's "Don't Stop Believing" spaces that he's been doing is amazing. He just keeps getting better and better. And usually whenever GG puts something together, he's hitting my funny bone.
Can you explain yellow to me at all?
Nobody can explain yellow.
Yeah. What is the enigma then? How would you describe the enigma of yellow to somebody without necessarily trying to explain it per se? But someone never heard of it.
How do you explain a hurricane if you've never stood inside one? Right. He's his own thing. Right. He is a creative genius. He's hilarious. He's temperamental. And we love him. Love you, Yellow. You're amazing. But yeah, there's no explaining the guy. None.
Yeah, it's always interesting, the unexplainable genius, in terms of you always wonder whether they could or want to even explore the idea of maybe putting that in a way that would be maybe more mainstream. Is it just the way they are, or do they have the ability to adapt and this is what they're choosing to do? Like, I think like someone like Andy Kaufman could have been a more mainstream comic, but that wasn't his dream.
Wasn't ever going to be him. No, yeah.
Right. But he had the talent to be, I think, and could have.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
But didn't want that. It could have been bigger, than he was if he went a different route, but I don't think he necessarily wanted that. Or
I think Dave Chappelle faced a similar conundrum after the second season of Super Chappelle Show, where he was getting huge, but it was going to come at a cost to some of his values and beliefs. And
I think it's a
tough decision.
Right, but I don't think he was like, oh, I want to be quirky and weird for the sake of weird. I think it was like, oh, I can do this really well, but like I'm gonna have to compromise, so I'll just stop.
You're talking about Kaufman.
Chappelle.
Kaufman
was like,
okay.
I'm gonna be weird and crazy and forfeit everything else. Where Chappelle's like, all right, I'm not gonna be weird and crazy. I'm just gonna forfeit everything because I can't do me. And doing him would have been hugely mainstream. And he could go as hard as he wants and he'd be mainstream.
Yeah, and now I know for the next couple of days I'm gonna get yellow in my ear about him being in the same conversation as Dave Chappelle and Andy Kaufman. So
right.
For that,
right.
Cedric.
You're welcome, my friend. You agreed to come on the show.
I guess
But what
yeah.
about like, cyber hornets or sell your chairs? Some of the bigger ones.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? What about them? I mean, those are memes that basically everybody in the Bitcoin space knows. They got them pretty quickly. We all feel like cyber hornets sometimes, and we all feel like we're selling even the chairs to get as many sats as we can before it rips off again.
Do you think there'll be another huge meme like that?
There's always another huge meme around the corner, and it's Bitcoin and the memes around Bitcoin change as new perspectives are added to Bitcoin as well, right? So when people come in throwing different information around or different thoughts around about Bitcoin, if you have an idea, it's going to spark a meme. So Michael Saylor hits the scene, cyber hornets, here we are. Pierre Rochard selling chairs. Well, we're all selling chairs. The next meme, I don't know what it's going to be. It might be banana bread. Might be Bitcoin is violence. They all came from new ideas, and they all spawned a brand new meme from out of the ether. Not Ethereum, not that shitcoin.
Did you create, or were you close to the creation of the laser raise to 100K?
The creator, the ideator, the originator of the meme is definitely Chairforce. But we all rallied behind him. Everybody in the meme factory rallied behind him to try to push that as something that Bitcoiners could rally around. And it worked out amazingly well. I thought that was a really good and effective meme. I can take a look at somebody's Twitter profile and know pretty quickly what I'm going to find in the feed if they've got laser eyes. It's it's pretty easy.
What was it like maybe getting together and trying to push that meme.
It was a lot of fun. It was at just the beginning of the bull market, and Chairforce was contemplating how we had all rallied around like Santa hats around Christmas, and he wanted to come up with something else everybody could enjoy. And the moonshot at that point in time was 100K. If we can hit 100K, whew, that's the moon for Bitcoin right now. And so Laser Ray to 100K was born as a hashtag. You put laser eyes on your face. Everybody enjoyed it, and it was just, it had its own moment in the sun. It was fun.
And what do you think of like the clown world meme? I feel like that just popped up, and that's an incredible
one. I don't know that I ever saw somebody even heard somebody say clown world or saw somebody type clown world until maybe 2 years ago. It's probably the first time I ever started noticing people either saying or writing or drawing clown world. I think it is a great meme to describe things that, to anybody who remembers the past, seem absurd.
Speaking of absurd, what is the Bob Malakas meme?
That he has a PhD. He's a doctor, but Dr. Bob Malakas III, Esquire. I think he's got a law degree as well. What about him? He's as far as I understand, he's a reporter of some renown and integrity
on Twitter.
Yeah, well, I think he's based out of Chicago. He the investigative journalism is just part of what he does, and then on top of that, where he really supplements most of his income is through the hot dog stand that he has. I've checked out his Facebook page before. I don't know if you have, but it's fun. He's a good guy. It seems like a good guy.
You seem to refer to him quite a bit.
I mean, when you find signal in all this noise, it's really hard not to push the signal of anything that's really, at the heartbeat of something. And Dr. Bob Malakas really seems to have his shit together. And I'd highly recommend following him for anybody who's paying attention and listening.
For pure signal.
Yeah, pure signal.
And speaking of pure signal, I mean, some memes are like, like even just one word, like hodl. There's no picture.
No, there's not. But
I mean, and that I think almost, I don't know when the idea of memes became a word on the internet. I mean, memeing is as old as time. You were talking about that before, but I feel like hodl is like one of the earliest.
It came from a Reddit post, if I remember correctly. Somebody was drunk saying he's just gonna hodl through everything,
and then it just migrated to Twitter and just everywhere, I guess.
Yeah, but memes exist in language already. What do you think "okay" comes from? Right. So somebody all clear or something like that, and they changed the wording of it to OLL and then a K, and then it got shortened to OK. It's like 1840s or something. But memes exist in the world in word form already. We have just been figuring out different ways to create memes out of our ideas as humans for a very long time, and we've been iterating. And right now we've got some very interesting tools. Video memes. Cartoon memes.
Yeah, you gotta take it to the next level.
Bojack memes.
Gotta learn new skills.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, you go, please.
I didn't have anything to add to that other than that there's a lot of tools out there.
Is 21 million Bitcoin a meme?
Insofar as it's an idea, I mean, the closest I've seen to the number 21 million being a meme is what Kenneth Svanholm did with his infinity over 21 million. That's absolutely a meme. You can see it conveys the idea that the entire world will at some point be priced in Bitcoin, that all of existence that we can price at some point in time in human history moving forward will be priced in Bitcoin. So everything over 21 million might as well get some, might catch on.
I hope so. I hope it's meme proof.
You don't want meme proof. You just want anti-fragile.
That's fair.
You want
right.
you want to find the problems.
To win.
I don't want to see something that never has any problems ever. Then I'm just waiting for the other shoe to fall, right? But if it's anti-fragile and it can take the abuse and then get stronger, I'm all for that.
Right. I agree, especially around Bitcoin and what you're getting at there. And I want to move a little bit to Twitter questions. And I'm trying to figure out who asked this because it's cut off of my notes. But someone wanted to ask you if you ever think you'll make a good meme.
Oh no, no, absolutely not. I don't even strive for good memes. The whole idea behind my account is I'm trying to annoy all of you, and I hope I'm doing a good job.
Fair enough.
That's why you laugh.
Well, on that line, Weinicus wanted to know why you are the way you are.
I believe I answered him on Twitter. The answer was reasons, and I think I might stick with that.
All right, fair enough. Big Sean Harris wanted to know, where do you think the meme factory will be in 5 years?
Sean is always working. Since it doesn't exist now, it's not going anywhere. You can't disappear something you can't find in the first place. But 5 years from now, hopefully, we'll have 2 having parties under our belts, and we'll be making you laugh with some more memes and having a good time on the podcast. Hopefully.
Sounds awesome. And Wacky Digital was asking about Greg Zaj 1, Greg Zaj 2, and Greg Zaj Trace, and he tries to limit his follower count to about 256 people or bits. I'm not sure, but why should you take up 3 valuable slots?
It's definitely a bite-sized joke. I like that. And I don't know. One of them's not me. Greg Zaj Trace is not me. I'm running Greg Zaj 1 and Greg Zaj 2. Hopefully you find value out of one or both of them. If you don't follow me. It's fine. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I promise.
Is there a difference between the two? How do you
Absolutely. They're different people.
They're different. How do you manage that?
There's no managing it. It's just as it comes out, whatever voice is leaving my brain, that's the voice that gets.
Is there any difference between the profile? Like in the.
Yeah, so Greg Zaj Dose is wearing the McDonald's Bitcoin hat and he's eating some fries. Whereas Greg Zaj 1 is just the base picture.
All right. So then, if Meme Factory, I think of Meme Factory almost like Wu-Tang Clan. I think I'm the Wu-Tang Clan of Bitcoin. You know,
that'd be awesome.
I don't know who's in Meme Factory. I feel like, you could be out there, you could talk shit about Meme Factory. All right. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. Sorry about that.
Is this live?
No, it's not live. Hopefully we have that. I got to convert the files later. I got to pray for space. I think I have space for recording this. I don't know.
We'll find out. Space away.
What? I deleted a bunch of stuff I probably need. Yeah. But we'll
convert it.
Deal with that later. I hope I can convert it later.
There you go.
We'll go on as if we can. So we were talking about if Meme Factory exists and whether it's like Wu-Tang Clan.
Right.
And so there's all these people in it. It's like the RZA, Jizza, and Inspector Tech, and it just keeps going. And there's all these people in it, and I feel like there's all these secret members, and I feel like I could be out in public, and I could be like talking shit, and someone's gonna be like, "I'm in Meme Factory, motherfucker," and it's
that's
over.
great.
So
that is great.
That's how I feel. So question coming in from World of Rusty.
Oh shit!
If the Meme Factory did exist, and we all know it doesn't, which one would he like? Which one would he retweet? And which one would he mute?
All right. I would like Yellow. I would retweet Rusty because he doesn't get retweeted that much. And I would mute Chairforce instantly. Not even thinking about it. Chairforce is getting muted before I even figure out the rest of those decisions. He's getting muted.
All right. Okay. And Javier Bastardo, Crypto Bastardo on Twitter. He's been on the show.
I'm familiar.
We went deep on Venezuela. He just tell him F you, Greg.
Thank you.
We get that in.
Thank you, Javier.
And Bitcoin Patriot said, ask him to say, fuck me, me.
Fuck me, me.
So that's going to bring us up to one of the most famous memes you're in, which is fuck you, Greg. It's an interesting one.
It's foisted upon me.
Dynamic.
Thank you. Dynamic. That's a new way to describe that one. But insofar as the F word itself is dynamic and useful, sure. FUG is also dynamic and useful. It's my favorite way to conduct a Twitter poll, honestly. What would you like to know about the Greg meme?
Well, what does that mean? Like, it's your favorite way to conduct a Twitter poll? Someone mentioned, what does it feel like to be the #1 Twitter poll answer or something along those lines? So
I got tired of seeing like the normal Twitter thing at the bottom where it would just like say show results. And I thought it was a waste of 25% of your poll space, right? So if you're going to have show results on there anyway, you might as well be able to click like, fuck you, Greg, for making this even show up in my feed.
Right.
And it's I enjoy it definitely, and I feel like it gives the opportunity to all of the folks that want to tell me to go and F myself the option to do so.
But I think it's all fair in love and meme warfare, and I think it kind of, that's a cool way out of like, you don't like my memes, you can say this to me. And I think it's also used by a sign of love from your friends and your family and your online. And I saw that when I was in Miami. So there was a nice chant of fuck you, Greg, going at the panel, and it was revelatory. I think people were relishing it. And so I played a little practical joke on you that night. I saw you guys out on South Beach Street or whatever it's called. And you guys were leaving a place. I was like walking in, and your crew and a couple of ladies were not getting along. So when you guys got outside, I was like, just yell, fuck you, Greg. And they started yelling at you guys. And you guys were like, how do they know? And
I was wondering what had happened, because there were a lot of spontaneous fuck you, Gregs out in public in Miami during the conference. It was heartwarming, to say the least.
I could see that.
It's a unique experience hearing somebody say fuck you in public to you, and
out of love,
knowing it's out of love and not somebody trying to start a fight. It's I was laughing my ass off. Thank you.
I could see that. That's awesome. I'd like to ask you whether you think we're going through some sort of super cycle now.
Oh, I hate that term, but Jimbo's going to be mad at me if I don't say yes. I feel like Bitcoin itself is a super cycle, right? Gradually, then suddenly. There's plenty of whipsaw action in between the gradually and the suddenly, but eventually there is going to become a wall of money that pushes Bitcoin through the event horizon into the new monetary paradigm. It's coming. Can't do anything about it. Sorry. Buy some Bitcoin.
True. Earlier before, it was Eric Can't Meme who was like, if you're ever going to come up with a good one.
He can actually meme.
Okay.
We joke with him quite a bit.
Well, it's a bold choice for name, especially if you couldn't.
Well, he couldn't at first. He was not good, but he's progressed.
He came around.
Yeah, he came around.
It's interesting. When I started doing the show, I went from I tried to be a NIM, and I couldn't really figure out how to share ideas as a NIM. And I started the show, and I figured it'd be easier to ask people to come on the show if I wasn't a NIM, because they'd be like, "Who's this guy? There's no picture. Like, why? And there were no shows out, and I was asking people to come on." And then so now I'm doing the show, and then I'm now trying to like share the show on Twitter, and I just didn't know what I was doing on Twitter, and it was like CK like just DM me. He's like, "Stop what you're doing, and you need to learn how to meme." And I was like, what? I more work. I gotta learn. What is a meme? And
now, are you and CK just friendly, or were you working as part of Bitcoin Magazine at this point?
No, not that. I was just lucky. CK agreed to come on the show sight unseen, and he had a great time. He then tweeted about it. He said it was one of his best appearances ever, interviews, and he's been a huge supporter since. And he would just
he told me the same thing.
We've talked a bit offline.
Which one of us do you think was his favorite? Was his real favorite?
Well, probably you. He
think it
just
was
kept
you.
telling me, just fuck Greg. You're the best. Fuck Greg. And I said, Greg's definitely the best. Then you got so much energy behind it. But
So he told you stop it. Get some memes out there.
just like learn how to tweet. Stop retweeting your bad tweets, and just learn how to tweet, learn how to meme. And I basically was saying learn how to tweet effectively. And I was like, okay, now I have to learn how to do this as part of this other stuff I'm learning. And that was all top of my day career. So it's been a journey, but TK has been a huge supporter, and he's been great. And so then along those lines, when moon
Monsoon.
It's
a continuous moon. Everybody's got a different moon. Last cycle was 100K. We didn't quite get it, but I think now we're going for laser eyes until Fiat dies. So
that's a good one.
That's the moon we're looking for at this point. I don't know that it'll ever die. We're gonna try to kill it.
We're gonna do our best trying. So then, what does "bless your heart" mean?
Do you just want the overt, or do you want the subtext?
Let's go subtext first.
All right. So subtext on "bless your heart" is it's an insult. Anybody who knows any Southerners knows that "bless your heart" is an insult. So if you say something that you were convicted in a group of people, and that group of people that you're speaking to thinks that you're mentally handicapped, right? They might say to your statement, "Bless your heart, Cedric." And to you, it's like, oh, thanks. That's validation for what I'm saying. But in their minds, they're calling you a moron. It's not a good one. But overtly, it's a great insult.
You're not a Southerner.
No, I married one.
So did you learn that? I mean, you kind of came across that, and
yeah, I say a lot of stupid things, so I heard a lot of "bless your hearts."
Right.
My mom used to tell me that I learned by letting the world kick my teeth in, and so of course I was going to learn "bless your heart" before anything else.
Right on. I know you've gone down a lot of rabbit holes in your life. Not much right now. But I want to ask you about the light bulb rabbit hole.
The light bulb rabbit hole?
Yeah. I believe you've done some research on light bulbs.
Okay. That's an old rabbit hole. Are you talking about planned obsolescence?
Yeah.
Okay. So when light bulbs were invented, I'm going to try to condense this as much as possible because I'm gonna say some stuff probably out of what the reality is at this point. It's been a while since I went into this, but basically, you make a light bulb and then you iterate. Engineers iterate on this thing, make it better and better and better and better and better and better and better. And as of inside the last 5 years, 10 years, there was still a light bulb running in some fire station in like Boston that had been running for like 100 years and wasn't going out. And that was like the starting off point of finding out that these people who were manufacturing light bulbs realized, oh, okay, if we make these light bulbs and they just last forever, it's not a really good business model for us because everybody's going to have enough light bulbs and then our sales will just so they conspired. I think there were like 3 or 4 light bulb manufacturing companies like Edison, GE, Westinghouse in the US, and they all conspired to have like a set limit of hours that a bulb can last before the filament busts. And they're doing similar things with LEDs. And it's interesting to see whether or not they're like putting caps on it. But like on some of the products, you'll see like, we'll last 60,000 however many hours X. But like an LED, it's a light emitting diode. Like if it works, it works, and there's no moving parts, there's not any excess heat. It's gonna work for a very long time unless you design it in a way where it's gonna break after an X amount of time, where like you program into the chips and these things just to stop functioning. And like Joe Blow's not going to know, right? it's like, okay, the light goes out after, so I just go buy a new one. Like that person may not necessarily know that they've been duped into this recurring buy of light bulbs and light bulbs. Anyway, light bulbs are a scam.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard you talk about it before, and I mean, the light bulb went off. I mean, I've seen it with the LEDs. You know, I remember when they came out, we got this new technology. You're never gonna have to buy a light bulb again. You should buy LEDs, and they were like $50 a light bulb.
Right.
And then when they got them down to like $4 a light bulb, they're like, this one lasts 1,800 hours.
Right. You're like,
and I was like,
what changed?
Yeah.
What did you do?
That's fascinating. And you just see it everywhere. But if you take it to the nth degree, it's like, why don't we just make money that lasts forever? Because right now we don't have money that lasts forever. You know, since we like Fiat.
When you don't respect time from the ground up, from the money up, shit like planned obsolescence is a profitable business model. It's a Fiat business model.
Yeah, I think you even see it with humans. I mean, planned obsolescence these days. And
are you feeling obsolete?
No, but I think they're, you know, trying to obsolete some people, but or do more with less. And but I mean, it starts with little things like light bulbs, you know, or just any sort of machinery and equipment. But, you know, we finally have money that lasts forever. I think gold lasts forever, but it wasn't a great system in terms of the way it could be centralized. And I think also just, we don't know how much is out there. It doesn't make for a perfect denominator in the way that Bitcoin does, in a perfect unit of account.
There was some number of tons of gold that was sent, I want to say Singapore from China, that was just like steel with
just
wrapped
tungsten
in like,
or steel.
Yeah, it's tungsten wrapped in.
How bold is that though?
Woo!
Like, just think about that at the sovereign nation level. I mean, it's basically declaring war, in my opinion, or I mean, it's pure theft.
Yeah, but when you think about the environment, it's no different from Uncle Sam pressing a few buttons and saying, "Well, now there's
100%.
Now there's $20 billion more dollars."
You're right. You're right.
They're real dollars.
Right.
No, it's all a symptom of Fiat. Like, the planned obsolescence is a symptom of Fiat. When you have a low time preference society, you have low time preference activities in your companies. Trying to earn a buck.
How do you think Bitcoin has changed you?
I'd like to think that it helped me with my critical thinking skills. It certainly sparked a switch in my reading from, it was probably like 80-20 fiction, nonfiction, and it probably flipped after I went down the Bitcoin rabbit hole. So now it's like 20% fiction, 80% nonfiction. So I think I'm trying to catch up with a lot of stuff that I took for granted in how the world functions. And I'm just trying to get to the bottom of any truth I can find at this point.
What about offline? It seems like you've connected with a lot of people online through Twitter and Bitcoin and memeing and truth and sort of trying to understand and that transition from going from, like, you know, things you didn't understand correctly to more truth now. And what about people not on your journey that are in your real world? Like, do you go back and forth easily? Is it a little harder to go back into, or is everyone on a journey with you in your real life, online? I mean, offline, I should say.
Most everybody I care about has had the orange pill rammed down their throat by me, for sure. But the difference between online and internet is, internet, I do most of my communication with people that are in memes, right? It's just, it's not much of a flowing conversation so much as it's just pictures flying back and forth, pictures and videos. And you'd be surprised how much communication you can actually get out of that. And in the real world, I'm a very introverted person, right? I like interactions with people just drain me. So I don't for the most part like interacting with people that especially I don't know very well. But when you can find some people who have the same depraved style of comedy that you do and the same communication issues that you have, where you are more comfortable throwing pictures back and forth than actually discussing real life or your feelings, then it's just two different styles of communication, and memes work.
That's fascinating. I relate to a lot of it. I have a little bit to unpack there in terms of I wouldn't have guessed you to be introverted, but I wonder, do you think a lot of Bitcoiners are naturally introverted offline?
No, I think it's a pretty split mix, whatever the normal bell curve distribution is of introverted and extroverted.
I've seen t-shirts like introverted, but we'll talk about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I relate to that a bit. Do you think
I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Agreed. I forgot I was going with that.
That's okay.
I wrote something down. I can't read my handwriting.
That might be a strength.
That's what I wanted to talk about. Okay, got it. Okay, so you were mentioning pictures back and forth.
Okay.
Yep. So do you guys? I get the feeling, and I think I've heard whispers. You guys have probably like an offline group on like Telegram. I mean, that you're going back and forth and memeing each other, not even online, not even for anyone to see. Because I've seen the pictures go back and forth on Twitter.
Yeah. No, the funniest stuff never hits Twitter. That's where we're really, I'm in a few group chats, whether it's on like Telegram or inside Twitter, but just a few. But that's where you can really assault your friends,
right?
And not have any public backlash.
It seems like a lot of channels to manage. But just I think my final question is, memes are just ideas. We just want the best ideas to win. So this came, how do we focus on creating memes that leave behind a better world?
What kind of question is that, Cedric? How do I focus on memes that make a better world? Do you think the rainbow dildo meme is making the world a better place for anybody? I mean, it's making it more entertaining.
If it's refuting bullshit, I don't know. Entertaining is better. It's been a bit bleak out there.
I think as long as people are willing to speak truth to power and be comfortable, Twitter is a crucible for ideas and any type of creation, whether it's a meme or anything else you might be putting out there. And it's going to do everything it can to knock you down. And if you give up when Twitter tells you that your content is shitty, that sucks, because you should do is keep pushing and iterate on what you've done. And sometimes you'll be successful and funny and you'll make something interesting. Most of the time, for most people, including myself, you're putting out shit and trying to make something happen. Twitter is a very high time preference site. So like, I'm not going to spend forever creating something that's going to fizzle out into the ether of the internet, even though it's like preserved forever or whatever. But it's just Twitter itself is kind of, even though it's the public square, it's also a high time preference fiat, insofar as that, like, once something's out there, it gets buried rather quickly with the other information out there. There we go. My speaker messed up for a second. But yeah, the way that memes will leave a better place for anybody is if they promote truth, right? If the point of language is to express truth in some way, and memes are just another tool in the kit of expressing oneself, then as long as they are used in the pursuit of expressing a truth, whether it's funny or sad or just interesting, they are going to drive a better future, because won't the future be better if it's based in truth?
Much better. What's your favorite part of Bitcoin?
Number go up. Number go up is my absolute favorite part of Bitcoin. It's the best thing that Satoshi wrote into the code. I swear to God. Orange coin good, number go up is a meme, and it's the best thing about Bitcoin, period. Right? I just have to sell my fiat for the orange coin and forget about it. And then later I can buy more things with the power of my energy and time stored in Bitcoin. Love it. Number go up is going to make us all Bitcoiners.
That's a truism if I ever heard one. If you could orange pill anyone in the world,
Putin. Absolutely. Guy's grasping at straws. He has a nation in demographic decline with a shit ton of natural resources all over his country. And the way that that country has defended the value of its time and its people over the past 2 or 3 centuries doesn't look like it's working great anymore. And some of the things they're suffering in terms of sanctions, the Russian people, is going to have an effect downstream on the commodities that anchor their economy. So when they can't export as much oil, especially from the newer fields that are in Siberia that American tech companies made functional, right? So these are oil fields that went offline when the Soviet Union collapsed and only all came back online within the last couple of years. With all the sanctions they're facing, as they can't export oil, they're still drilling it out of the ground. You can't stop, right? Otherwise it freezes. And if you can't get it out, it starts freezing up and backing up the pipeline, they explode, right? So now you have baseline another 30 years before you can bring that energy online. And I'm a firm believer that energy, like Alex Epstein talks about, is the way we better humanity on any calculable basis. Having energy is going to solve your food problems, your heat problems, your cooling problems, your shelter problems. Like, energy is what moves everything around. So if you orange pill Vladimir Putin and you take all of those natural resources that can't find a way out of the country, and now you can just sell them to the lowest bidder in Bitcoin for all of the energy you want to provide. Well, now maybe you have 150 million people with vast natural resources pointed in a very different direction than they're pointed today. And then it's the dominoes after that. So once a country the size of Russia takes on some kind of Bitcoin standard, starts pricing their energy in Bitcoin, nobody else is going to be able to hold it down. So yes, Vladimir Putin is the person I would orange pill today.
That's a great answer. What do you think you'd be doing with your time if Bitcoin didn't exist?
I'd be a gold bug, I think.
Would you be memeing about gold?
Probably. I don't know. It's if whatever assets were out there that were inside of the Austrian economics framework for how value is exchanged for the world and things are priced, is what I would have been into. And right now that's Bitcoin. Like that's the Austrian economic tool. It's the best money in the world. It's the best money we've ever created, and it looks like it solves a lot of the problems that gold had in its capture and its settlement issues. So I mean for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin didn't exist, I'd probably be meaning for gold.
And in a world where I think it's inevitable, but Bitcoin wins, what do you think Is it euphoric? Do you have a sense of relief? Like, how does your world change in some way that's for the better, that gives you like hope or relief, or like what is in some way you'd like to see the world change on a Bitcoin standard?
I would like to see the return of capital allocation, like saving capital for projects that are more long-term and less short-term. But I don't know that I or whoever parses through that change is going to notice it. So it's like an event horizon on a black hole, right? At some point, the observer stops seeing change on the person that's going into the black hole, the objects that are going in the black hole, but the person or object that's in the black hole as it's going past the event horizon might still feel like everything's normal. But normal outside the event horizon and inside the event horizon are two very different realities. And I don't know that you in transition will notice that change. I think that right now there's very few Bitcoiners. And I think that by the time we are hyper Bitcoinized, the use of Bitcoin might be obfuscated to the point that people just feel like they're still interacting in their local digital currencies. And then at some point that just transitions into Bitcoin and just doing sats in the Lightning Network. It's going to be an organic transition, even though it's going to be a speedy one when the suddenly happens. And you're not necessarily going to see or feel that change, except reflected in the price of Bitcoin.
I agree with what you're saying. What about the world today that's broken that you'd want to see fixed for your children?
I want to make war more expensive. I want to make it unaffordable, right? So right now there's definitely a benefit to projecting power in the physical realm to set the state and chain of ownership of assets throughout the world, as our good friend Lowry puts it. But yeah, I want to make that less of an economically feasible way to do business.
Well, F you, Greg. This show's been so dope.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate you inviting me on.
Yeah, man, this has been great. I'll leave it to you for any parting words and to let people know where they find you. I hope we covered everything that you were hoping to. I definitely did. So anything you want to share and let people know where they can find you and your memes, your dank memes.
You can find me on Twitter at Greg Zaj1, at Greg Zaj Dose, at Suscorp, at the Bitcoin Narrator, and like 10 others that you have to figure out for yourselves. But also on YouTube, we're the Meme Factory TM. Subscribe. We got a podcast. You can find it on normal places. I think it's Spotify. It's under a finance finance tab. My brain is failing me at this moment, but it's a good place to look for us. And again, thank you for having me on. I had a blast.
Yeah, man. I think of you as the RZA of the Meme Factory. So
thanks.
Thank you so much, man. It's been dope. Yo, thank you for listening. Please make sure that you're subscribed to the Bitcoin Matrix podcast so you don't miss out on any fresh and new content. I want to thank Greg Zaj for taking the time to come on the show. I also want to thank our sponsors, River and CoinKite, for powering the show. If you're digging the chats, please subscribe, write a 5-star review, stream and boost the show on the Fountain app, and share links with your friends and family, because those are the best ways to spread the word so I can keep grinding out thought-provoking conversations about Bitcoin. David Zell, Luke Broyles, Jonathan Chester, and Muzz are all up next. Keep learning, keep stacking, and stay laser focused out there. This is Cedric. Peace.